Let's speak now to one of the people who was at that meeting, the Labour MP, Karl Turner. Karl, great to have you with us. How was the Prime Minister last night?
Good morning, Wilfred. Well, he was angry, he was reflective, he was apologetic, but I think the anger was about his own self. He was angry with him for taking the advice and appointing Mandelson, but he was reflective about where he has been in terms of the PLP for the last 18 months. We've not felt very included, that's the truth. He's promised to address that issue. And I think he's satisfied the Parliamentary Labour Party that this is a Prime Minister not on his knees, as some of the media suggest, but a Prime Minister who's strong and determined and committed to delivering for the British public. We have a majority in there of 169. Goodness me, we need to be using it, don't we?
So give me a rating out of 10 for the first year and a half of his premiership.
Look, I'm not going to get into that. Look, I'm not satisfied with some of the things. The polling's terrible. You don't need me to rate it, do you, Wilfred? We're doing bad in the polling. The Prime Minister's not very popular. But listen, we're 18 months into a 5-year term. People like Anas are saying he's got to resign. What a load of nonsense. Anas should have kept loyal to the Prime Minister and not lost his bottle. But we can understand what he was doing. He thinks he's going to be more popular in Scotland if he divorces himself from the Prime Minister. It's not possible. The Prime Minister's the Prime Minister of the country.
Do you think the Prime Minister this morning is weaker than he was 3 weeks ago, or not?
Well, I'll tell you something. I texted the PM when I was on the train. I had to come back up to Hull. I texted him on the train and I said, listen, more of that publicly. My word, the polling will soon shift in the right direction. Make no mistake. It was absolutely superb.
What about the policies? You know, you mentioned the Parliamentary Labour Party. Put the Mandelson issue aside, over the last 18 months hasn't felt included enough. What hasn't Downing Street been listening to the PLP about? What do you want to see more of?
Well, my reason for wanting rid of Max Sweeney was because of the way he behaved with members of Parliament, ministers, cabinet ministers, briefing, leaking, suggesting this was happening and that was happening. You speak about a policy against a policy, like I did on the idea of jury curtailment in criminal proceedings. And all of a sudden, journalists are ringing to see if you're all right because they've been briefed that you're not well. I mean, what a load of nonsense that we've been putting up with. That's not going to continue anymore. And the Prime Minister is determined to bring the Parliamentary Labour Party together and make us feel included. We need pitch rolling. When there's a policy announcement, providing it's not a national security issue that the Prime Minister has to deal with, we want to be consulted on what the policy is if it's not in the manifesto. That's all we're asking.
Are you content if you lose the South Manchester by-election and if you do very poorly in the local elections?
Well, we're in it to win it, for a start. I'm going to be going there next week and I'll be knocking on doors trying to persuade people to vote Labour. But look, I mean, I'm not pretending for a second that there's not challenges ahead. Of course there is. And if we lose the by-election and lose it badly, the Prime Minister will have the consequences of that and he'll have to answer to the PLP. But if he's in the spirit that he was in last night, he'll answer those questions. He's determined to crack on. Why? Because he's driven by public service. He's determined to deliver for the British public. And that's what we need to do. Get behind him and make sure he delivers.
Finally, Karl, I just wanted to ask your views towards the Cabinet as a whole yesterday. I mean, they did obviously come out and tweet their support in the mid to late afternoon towards him. But there was quite an extended period of silence when he was at his weakest moment. Did that disappoint you? Do some of the Cabinet members need to be shuffled as much as the behind-the-scenes deputies to the Prime Minister?
Look, I'm not going to start choosing the Prime Minister's cabinet for him. It's a matter for him. And I don't know what they were up to. Goodness me, they might be busy. Sometimes I don't pick my phone up for 10 minutes. I might be doing something. I don't know what was happening. But I tell you something now. It was clear to everybody in that room that the Prime Minister's cabinet is entirely behind the Prime Minister, focused on delivering for the country. That's the truth. I don't need to come on your programme and make stuff up. It is the reality. We expect the Prime Minister to stay in post and govern for the betterment of the country. That's what he needs to do today, tomorrow, the next day, the week after, until he decides that he's not wanting to continue. Nobody else can do it for him. It's a matter for him.
Karl, great stuff. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.